Welcome to Face Islam, the program dealing with the problems, issues that Muslims face everywhere. I want to talk today about a subject in Arabic. I'm going to tell you some Arabic words and see if you can figure them out. Masihi, Nasraniya. Have you heard of these words before? Well, actually, Masihi, these are people who follow or worship the Messiah, the Christ. The word Masihi, or Messiah in Hebrew, is translated to Koine Greek as Christos. Later on in the English, we dropped off the os and it became Christ or Christ. Christians, those who follow Christ. Okay, Nasraniya. These are related to the helpers, giving nusra, the supporters or disciples of Christ. I personally used to be in the Disciples of Christ church. And of course, growing up in it, you love the church that you grew up in. Still have a lot of respect for the folks there, as I should as a Muslim, and their beliefs. Although we believe that God is one and Jesus is the Messiah, we just don't accept that God has a son, or a daughter for that matter, or any partners of any kind. That would be the biggest difference. So how are we going to treat these people, these Masihi and Nasraniya? How? Well, according to Islam, I don't know if you realize this, other religions don't have something like this, telling you clearly how to deal with each of the other kind of religions. Islam tells us clearly how to deal with Christians and Jews, as a matter of fact, and those who believe in idols and statues, and also those who don't believe at all. We know how to treat each and what their status is in front of Allah. And you might say, well, wait, aren't they all the same bunch of kuffar? No. Be careful what you say, because Allah said in the Quran, at their time, that some of these people, in fact, were not kuffar at all. They were the believers of their time. They were the, quote, equivalent to the Muslims of their time. So take it easy what you're saying. Because in Islam, the closest to us are the Christians, who believe in the Bible, they believe in the law, they believe in Jesus as the messenger that he was, and they are sacrificing and spending time and getting up in the night and crying and praying to God. And there are good Christian women and men today who do that. And they fast and they sacrifice in secret and they do a lot of the good things the Bible tells them to do. So be careful. They're not the same thing as a money-grabbing atheist or a crazy Hindu out here or a nonsense Jew doing this or that. Not saying that those religions teach that, but just saying that if somebody starts out as a Christian, has the highest opinion from us as being close to in beliefs. Now, I should also clear it up after I said that we also have respect for the Jews and the Hindus and the atheists, just that the closest in respect is going to be the Christian. Now, if a Christian does something crazy and wacky, well, that's the same as if a Muslim did, isn't it? And we would have to treat them the same way. If a Muslim steals, it's no different than a Christian steals. Anybody living in an Islamic state committing crimes, it doesn't matter what particular religion that they adhere to or claim to believe in, they're going to get the same judgment and same punishment unless they prefer, as it happened at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they preferred the punishment coming out of their Bible. Because oftentimes you'll find it's much tougher than what we find in Islam today. Now, some of the things that we're talking about, the treatment of Christians, though, I would like to encourage you not to be hard on them when it comes to the subject of what they're saying about Jesus. And the reason I say that, because when I was in the Disciples of Christ Church, I did meet people who said we're disciples of Christ, but we're worshipers of God, the God he worshipped. And the same way, we Muslims would say that, wouldn't we? I mean, we are definitely disciples or followers of Muhammad, aren't we? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But we don't worship him, do we? We better not. Muhammad is not to be worshipped. He's to be followed. And as a Christian could say, I'm following Jesus as a Christian, well, we hope he is. And if he says, I believe in the God that Jesus believed in, we hope he does. And if he says, I pray like Jesus prayed, and talks about how he prayed on Gethsemane, crying to God, let this cup pass from me, all of these things, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I'm definitely going to say that I hope that he's true to what he said, because who knows? On the day of judgment, Allah is the one going to judge him, isn't he? Only those who have clearly heard the message and understood and then rejected it are considered the liars. And I encourage you to read this more about this. I wish we have a lot of time for this. Go to the Quran, chapter 3, verse 110, and read all of it back to verse number 116, and find out about the Christians, the Ahlul Kitab, and what they do even today. You'd be surprised. And that's face Islam.